Mr. Shadid? Ms. Hutchinson?
Present.
Mr. Mehta?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Socio?
Here.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Here.
Mayor Womack?
Here. Sunshine notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, 1975, specifying the time, date, and location by posting a copy of the notice on the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy of the annual notice schedule to the official newspapers of the township, and is on file in the municipal clerk's office.
Thank you, Ms. Russo. Councilman Davis, will you lead us in the pledge to the flag?
Everybody get up, please. Indeed. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Luann Benson, could you step forward and introduce us to the International Women's Day presentation this evening?
Thank you, Mayor Womack. Good evening, council, residents joining us tonight, and especially our students. In the beginning of March, we had a wonderful celebration acknowledging the talented women in our community that do so much to enhance the day-to-day activities. And I want to say a special thank you to Mayor Womack, who joined us that Saturday, along with his wife, Carol. And if I could send your attention to the video that hopefully, okay, here we go.
1908, it grew out of a struggle. It grew out of the garment district protests that were going on in New York City. And it grew out of the unthinkably bad working conditions that the women were forced to work in, and the unsupportable low wages that they were forced to accept at that time. This in a country where everyone is supposed to be treated equally, and that has, to this day, still never happened. And I agree with my wife, no matter who you want to point the finger at, we still must stand up and struggle for equality for everyone. I see that there's some places where North Brunswick would be in trouble because we've put the word equality up here, and you're not supposed to use the words diversity, equity, equality, and inclusion if you want to get grants these days. That's not the way this country works. I urge, especially the young women, the scouts at the table, to understand that we live in a country where people do realize that our principles are for equality, for everyone to be able to stand up and be the person that they are able to be. I have nothing to worry about, well, because I'm old, I'm getting ready to retire, but I'm a white guy. I have nothing to worry about. But when you hear attacks on diversity, equality, inclusion, those are attacks on you. And we must stand up for them. We must stand up against them, and if it requires, make our voices heard and let people know that as Americans, we believe in equality for everyone, and that includes every woman. I really appreciate the chance to be here today. Thank you so very much.
In which women are unable to make medical decisions about their own bodies. We have two women who achieved greatness in their fields. One is Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Chief of Naval Operations, and the second, Linda Fagan, first female Coast Guard Commandant. They were recently fired from their positions simply because they are women. It really is a time that we all need to stand up, take to the streets and protest. Write to our Congress and Senate, just like our forebears who fought to get the right to vote did. We are women, we are strong. We are all of these things. We are brave, we are limitless. And we can regain our place in society, in the boardrooms, in the workplace, in medical institutions, and in our country. Thank you.
Once again, thank you to everyone that participated. I know we have some women here today that attended. I thank you very much. And Mayor Womack, thank you again.
Thank you for all the work you did pulling it together and your staff, Ms. Benson. I know that you've been doing the one-arm thing for a while, and we really do appreciate all your work.
Thank you. With your permission, I'll move to the next item.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, I'm going to call the Municipal Alliance Committee to come front and center and join me, please. And I'm going to invite our council president, Amanda Guadagnino, who is my liaison. I'm going to ask Councilman Mehta as well. And if you'll come across the front of the dais, thank you all. Before we begin, I'm going to ask the Municipal Alliance Committee members just to share their names, please.
Javier Bonds,
Blissy Vakkalgadda,
Jason Frushine,
Carlene Stewart Frushine,
Diana Whalen, Laura Pelzinski,
Zaire Ali,
Thank you. Just give them a round of applause. They do so much work behind the scenes. I'm going to ask Councilwoman Guadagnino if you'll come join me. Councilman Mehta. Can you hold that? What do you need? If you'll hold these up. Thanks. So originally, we had the Women's and Men's Conference Series that's conducted in February each year. Once again, we had fabulous students that participated this year. Part of the interaction is they create a message to their families or to their students, and they design a banner, and they have about 15 minutes to create that concept idea and put it to paper. And then that paper goes to our committee, and they vote on two banners. One will go to the middle school, and one will go to the high school. And I'm just going to bring your attention to Council President. That's where we started with the banners. They were literally sketches on paper, and then they go to the committee. There were a lot of sketches that went to the committee and so many wonderful ideas. So at this time, I'm going to ask Council President if she'll take our certificates that are here. We'll first call up the students along with, if the advisor could come join me now. Thank you. And just introduce yourself as well. Unfortunately, our principals are at meetings tonight and our superintendent. But thank you for joining us.
I'm Nicole Latore. I'm the interim dean at North Brunswick Township Middle School.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Councilwoman Guadagnino and Councilman Mehta to recognize and call up the students. And I didn't see you come in. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you and I could match, it looks like. If you could introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Radia Gamble. I'm the assistant principal at the high school. I'm here for Mr. Neller because he wasn't able to come.
Thank you. And I'm going to turn the mic over to our council president and Councilman Mehta. And Mayor Womack, could you kindly join us? Thank you.
Yeah. Nishta Patel can come forward, please. The Banner Design Award recipient. Nicole Dumshell. Alicia Taylor. Bianca Hatcher. Congratulations to all of you for doing a great job.
Are we doing banners now? Okay. Oh, you go. We're going to take the banner. Mayor. That one's upside down.
All right, we're going to do one banner at a time, and remember how they were. They were etched on a sheet of paper, and here we go. We're unfolding. Just stretch out, walk across in front of our students. We'll show the audience first, then the students will see their banner. How exciting is this? Come on, put your hands together for them. Wonderful. That is the first banner. Students, if you'll hold that banner. Okay, great job. And we'll unveil the next banner. Parents, feel free. Oh, good, you're all standing up, taking photos. I love it. Okay, looks great. Thank you, students. Wonderful job. Once again, thank you to my fabulous committee. They do so much work behind the scenes. Councilman Mehta, Council President Guadagnino, thank you. And Mayor Womack, we couldn't do this without you. Thank you. I'm going to invite the students and the committee out to the hallway so we can get a couple of photos now, and our administrators that have joined us. Thank you all. Parents, if you want to come out in the hallway with us, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
They are.
The agenda is a presentation by the Brunswick Dama Foundation. Did I say it almost right? Okay, good. Come right on up. Pardon me. Yeah. To turn it on, we just go like this. There you go. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dhruvan Reddy, and before we begin, I'd like to thanks millions for Mayor Womack for providing this opportunity. I'd like to tell you about Vrikshadama Foundation's cause. See, our goal is to plant 1 million trees by 2030, and we cannot do it alone. 1 million is a big number.
To realize our goal, we work with many organizations such as the Ministry of Forestry, the Boys and Girl Scouts, schools, many preserves, national parks, and so much more.
So, as we said, as Druan has mentioned, we will not be able to do this alone. So we have an event on April 19th at Johnson Park at Piscataway at 9 a.m. And I'm really hoping you guys can be there because it's just going to be a 5K, 3K, and 1K walk and run. And really, it's just so that we can get to know each other. Because since we just started this organization, we want to be as free as possible and get to know each other as quick as possible, and then we can get right into action.
So we're trying to look for more volunteers. Currently, we have 100 volunteers, but 1 million is a big number. So we're looking for more volunteers like yourselves who could help us in our mission to achieve 1 million trees.
Thank you so much for listening. You can find us on our socials. On Instagram, it's at Vrikshadama Foundation. Again, thank you so much for listening to our cause and listening to what we have in store as an organization.
And thank you, Mayor Womack, for giving us this opportunity. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at our event. And thank you and have a great day.
I'm excited to hear about a 1K event. This is something that I might be able to finally sign up for.
Can we take a picture?
Oh, sure. Come on up and take a picture from the whole council. Yeah, let's all go down and take a picture.
She's great.
Now, you don't have to be polite and stay for the rest of the meeting unless you want to, but we're going to move on and start the business part of the meeting, so if you all want to, you're welcome to do that. Sure. Would any member of the council like to have any items removed from this evening's consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items A through AC? No, AD. A through AD.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Socio?
Yes.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our workshop meeting of February 10, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our regular council meeting of February 18, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance for first reading and introduction number 25-02.
Number 25-02, an ordinance of the Township of North Brunswick to acquire by negotiated agreement interests in real property in the form of easements along Cousins Lane on the official tax map of the Township of North Brunswick, Middlesex County, New Jersey, for Cousins Lane Sidewalk Improvements Project.
And it's self-explanatory in the title, Mr. Ritz, but these are easements that'll allow sidewalks to be placed on Cousins Lane eventually. Okay, thank you, sir. Is there a motion to introduce ordinance 25-02?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Mr. Mehta?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Socio?
Yes.
Ms. Guadagnino?
Yes.
Council President, any news or information this evening? We know you have news and information, Councilman Socio.
Yeah, I know, you know. Just three quick announcements from the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. Just one moment, please. I want to look at something else as we go. Make that four. First will be breakfast with the Easter Bunny. That's going to be Saturday, April the 5th from 8 to 10 a.m. at the Green Turtle. Come and be a part of the fun. The fun will begin at 8 a.m. and includes breakfast, crafts, games, and prizes for finding the golden egg. Kids can take a picture with our famous friends, the Easter Bunny and other friends. Our last seating is at 9:30 a.m. Tickets are available online and can be purchased through communitypass.net until April the 4th. And that's $11 if you choose to pay at the door on the day of the event. It's $14. So again, that's Saturday, April the 5th, 8 to 10 a.m. Also on the 5th, so once you're done eating there, we're going to bring you up to the Polda Farm for our Earth Day celebration. That's Saturday, April the 5th from 10:30 until noon. We will have the Open Space Committee will be there, the Gardening Club, the MBTHS Environmental Committee, DPW, Girl Scout troops, the Township Environmental Commission, and Rutgers Master Gardeners will have free hay rides. And although Earth Day is every day, we are going to celebrate Earth Day in North Brunswick on the 5th. So please come out to Polda Farm from 10:30 until noon. Then continuing our fun Friday, Saturday, April the 5th, our fun Saturday, April the 5th, from noon to 4 will be the Holy Festival. Holy Festival will be at North Brunswick Veterans Park, and we're going to have food, activities, and performances. We encourage everyone to wear white, and the rain date for that will be posted on the website in case we need one. You are welcome to bring your own colors. There's no liquid color, please, and we're not responsible for any stained or damaged clothes as a part of that celebration. But it's really a great time. So you can start out by having breakfast with the Easter Bunny, then you go to Polda Farm, and then finish up at Vet Park. Going to be one hell of a day, April 5th, I tell you. And lastly, it's not too early to think about Memorial Day and our annual 5K run and walk, which will be at Community Park on Monday, May the 26th. Registration that day will begin at 7:30 a.m. If you dress in your most patriotic outfit, you were entered into our contest, and we'll give away 3 of those, as well as prizes for all age groups and classifications within the 5K run and walk. So we look forward to seeing you on April 5th on Memorial Day and all throughout town. Spring is coming, so let's get out there.
Thank you. If you haven't been to Polda Farm, it's behind the old Board of Ed building at Maple Mead. It's a beautiful farm. From Route 130, you don't really see it. You see the house that we're trying to preserve back in the back. That's only the beginning of the farm. It goes way on back all the way to the lake. It's really beautiful. Come out on April 5th and see it all, or come out on your own and just enjoy a nice walk out there. It's a beautiful place. And there was something else. What was the other announcement you made? Oh, Holy. The Holy Festival. Chief Battaglia and I attended a few years ago one of the Holy Festivals, and they really are fun. And if we can get Chief Battaglia out there again, seeing our police chief in all of the great colors is really makes it all worthwhile. Councilman Davis?
Yes, thanks, Mac. The Traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall is coming to North Brunswick Township, and it'll be located at Veterans Park. And the arrival will take place May the 23rd and station on site through Monday the 26th until 2 p.m. That's Memorial Day. So we, Mayor, Council, and everybody involved We're seeking local businesses and organizations to help make this special event for our community residents and visitors. And your involvement and support will help to highlight the importance of recognizing veterans and show our appreciation. So if you know anybody who would like to make donations to this, donations can be mailed right here to North Brunswick Senior Center. That's 15 Linwood Place, and I'll make sure this goes up on our site. And this is something that there was a lot of work put into it. It was initiated by Ms. Benson, and we've been working together with our police department. And we'll tell you a little bit more as we get closer. But May 23rd is when this wall will be coming here. And we're also looking for some volunteers maybe to take an hour of their time just to stand by it to make sure that we don't have anybody coming out to deface this wall. So, and I will go over this a few more times, but it's really important. It starts on the 23rd. The 26th is Memorial Day, so we hope everybody can be involved in that.
It's a true replica of
Yes,
the
yes, it is.
memorial in Washington. It's quite somber and solemn. It has all of the names of the people that are inscribed on the wall in Washington, the young men and women who lost their lives in Vietnam. And we will be holding vigil there essentially the entire time that it's here throughout the nights and the days. We'll have people standing there with the memorial. We're very honored that it's going to be here, and we hope the community really does come out to show our respects.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Yeah.
Councilman Maida?
No, thank you.
Councilwoman?
Nothing for me.
Madam Business Administrator? Ron, anything from a legal perspective?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Anybody here to be heard in public hearing tonight? Come right ahead.
Although I wanted these comments heard before you voted on the Climate Superfund Act, I'm here to just thank you for voting on it. This is really a New Jersey citizen initiative. It's passed in 19 towns already across the state, and we're hopeful that with North Brunswick adding some weight with the resolution, that it gets through the legislature very quickly and gets passed. It'll bring some money into the township and give a message to fossil fuel companies that we are paying attention. And this is passed in New York and Vermont already. So I thank you very much for what you've done for this effort. I'm Ginny Kyle. I've lived in town for 34 years. And
Well, thank you for coming out. Thank you for support on that. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Lucia Middleton, and I'm representing the Watershed Institute here tonight. So I just also wanted to reiterate what she said. Thank you for your work on the Climate Superfund Act. We support it, and we're glad to see towns implementing it. I also just briefly wanted to mention that, as you all know, the MS4 permit update came out in 2023, and DEP is emphasizing regional approaches to fulfilling the watershed improvement plans. So the watershed has been putting together different working groups for different watersheds. We already have one that's been very successful for the Stony Brook Millstone, and we're now doing one for the lower Millstone watershed. So we already have a lot of towns in this group, and so we strongly encourage some representative from North Brunswick to come and attend. We already have a consultant, One Water, who would be working and doing the WIP requirements, and so if all the towns are together and working on it, then it's less money, less time per town versus if you all just did it completely in isolation from other towns. So just wanted to say that. Thank you for your time.
Is it a staff professional that most towns have been
Yeah,
designating?
it could be an environmental commission, it could be a member of the council, planning board. Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Much
Yep.
appreciated.
thank you.
We had another event in town today that is not good, but it's something that we can be proud of. We had a fire. Our fire companies and emergency responses were there quickly. I think it's safe to say it was quickly contained. Once again, our volunteers and professionals make us proud in North Brunswick. Councilman Davis, I know you were there.
Yeah, Mac. As Mac said, our volunteers were there. It was amazing. I won't go into any specifics about loss. It weren't a loss of life. Nobody was injured, fortunately. Some people did lose their homes, but our volunteers, with a capital V, our volunteers were out there, and they took care of us, and fortunately there was no loss of life. The Red Cross also showed up to work with the people who had lost their homes. And so when you get these volunteer letters from our volunteer departments, this is not just the people in here, but everybody that's listening in, these people, these guys and women go out and risk their lives to help people who live within our community. So, as I said, fortunately, they did a great job there. Nobody lost their life. Nobody was injured. And I just want to give, our fire and police and everybody that was involved, OEM, for doing a great job today. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else who'd like to be heard in public hearing this evening? The gentleman in the back. Nice job this evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was going to ask for an update on code enforcement that took place in November. I just got an update about 10 minutes ago. I don't know whether it's complete or incomplete, but I'll go over a couple things with you. One being 497 George's Road. I attended the court meeting, like you said, court appearance. I couldn't hear anything between the town representative and the defendant and the judge because everything was kind of quiet. So I found out later that the defendant wants a attorney to represent him. So it's been postponed, and I just found out that another court appearance is going to be on April 8th. Now, my question is, this thing's been going on for about 12 years now. Any chance of this wrapping up this year?
I do think so. I mean, I do understand the feedback I got from that court appearance is it's rescheduled for April 8th, which is not a lot of time in theory to go out and get an attorney and get ready. So they're trying to keep everybody's feet to the fire to make this thing move and get a resolution.
So in other words, you think it'll be wrapped up this year?
Yes, sir, I do.
You're hoping, or you're kind of...
A lot of it will depend on the property owner's abilities, so I can't speak to those, but I think that in terms of doing everything we can do to make things happen, we will have done everything we can by the end of the year.
All right, the other thing I was looking at is Adams Lane, or I'm sorry, George's Road. No, I was right, Adams Lane. I got a report on George's Road, 77 George's Road. That's, I don't know where that is. 77 Adams Lane. Here it says it's being managed by the police department. And I think they're referring to Adams Lane, and I don't understand why the police department's involved in property maintenance when all they have to do is clean up the yard and get the cars off the grass. There's no parking, there's random parking all over. And again, this has been going on since November, since my last report or
We
request.
should be able to, Chief Battaglia or Mr. Ritz,
One of the officers has a personal relationship with the resident up there, so we thought it would be best. There are other circumstances
yes. So it's being worked on. It's being worked on. Okay, thank you, Chief.
It's been being worked on since November. When's it going to be completed?
We don't know.
Just clean up the yard. Cars are parked on the grass, or boats parked in the backyard. There's vehicles all over, and there's garbage all on the side.
Chief, I don't want to make you...
This isn't a police department project. This is code enforcement.
You know what, Mr. Nastis, it is my opinion that when you come to us and you make these points, you do want to see action. And sometimes we get better action from the police department than code enforcement. I feel much more intimidated when the chief pulls up behind me with his lights than I do when Mr. Ritz pulls up behind me in his electric car. So.
Well, then I'll have to ask the chief, when do you think this thing will be resolved? Give me it's been since November, so. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said we'll talk about it offline. There's other issues going on, so we can talk about it later.
That was the last answer I got. All right, 886 Livingston Avenue. The pallet is still on the ground. The weeds and everything else is still there. That's out this morning. And the grease can, or whatever they call it, is still there. Hasn't moved. And there was a couple of
Mr. Ritz.
My time's up.
Well, but of course we have another round. We're not trying to cut you off. So, Mr. Ritz, it had been abated. Have we followed up since it was deemed to have been abated and see if it's stayed in the good condition, or?
I'm not familiar with the gas can that he's talking about. I recently looked at.
Come on over tonight, I'll show it to you.
If we get somebody out there to take a look tomorrow, I'd appreciate that. Is there anybody else who'd like to be heard tonight? Anybody who'd like to be heard in the public hearing? Well, Mr. Nastis, go right ahead.
All right, 984 Bergen Avenue, same thing. Nothing's been done with that since I gave it to you in November.
It was
984 Bergen Avenue was right behind the parking lot on Livingston Avenue.
It's my understanding that an inspector went out on March 21st and is engaging the owner based upon what he observed or he or she observed at that time. So we will be able to report back, but they're following the process. Go out, take a look at it, determine what needs to be done, and engage the owner.
How about 970 A and B Beverly Street? What was abated? Trash is still in the backyard. All right, how 31517 Beverly Avenue, was that inspected by the fire department and first aid? Because they're parked in the driveway there, and you can't get upstairs because it's highly congested. The upstairs entrance is in the back, not in the front.
So summonses were issued, and I don't know whether they address the specific issue that you're talking about.
Well, I think they should take a look at it, in case it's needed, but there's still unregistered vehicles there and a lot of junk.
Well, excuse me, Nestor, but Mr. Ritz, what I'm reading here is that the two vehicles were removed. So I don't.
Yeah, two were. The one was on Jackson, the other one was unregistered. They were removed from 13 Beverly, but the rest of the area still has unregistered vehicles, and they're in between the houses. If a vehicle's in between the house, how does the first aid or the police department get to the back to get to the upstairs apartment?
Well, I mean, we don't control how people park on their private property, Mayor. If they're parking in a designated parking area,
I don't know that there are designated parking areas between the two buildings. There's 217 feet deep. They could put a stone parking lot back there and have all the residents park their cars back there, the toys and everything else, and clean it up.
Mr. Nessus has never brought this up before, Mayor. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'll have to have somebody look at it.
Well, you had your inspectors there. What did they see? They didn't notice any of this?
I'm not sure what you're indicating is a reasonable concern, Mr. Nessus.
Well, when you talk to your inspector,
Yes.
whoever handled this, ask them about that.
Okay.
Uh, 1596 Axel Avenue, that's history. That's been there forever and ever, and nothing's been done. That's because you're allowed to have one unregistered, uninsured, and not running vehicle on your property. And that, as a regulation, I think you should get rid of and put 15 days like it used to be.
Actually, what you just said, Mr. Nessus, is not correct if you read the response. You cannot have a disabled wrecked vehicle. You can have an unregistered vehicle, one. So I think the report indicates that he was just issued a summons for having not removed the disabled vehicle.
My point is, if you just remove that ordinance and go back to what it used to be, when you have a car there, you have 15 days to get it registered and insured and running.
The theory was, I think, of leaving.
That was during the Spalding's.
No, I understand, but we're conflating an unregistered vehicle versus a wrecked vehicle. We allow one unregistered vehicle in good condition. We don't allow any wrecked or dismantled vehicle.
Why one unregistered vehicle? What's the purpose of having one unregistered vehicle?
Project cars. I remember when we discussed
project car, put in a garage and work on it.
Well, everybody doesn't have a garage, and when we discussed it years ago, and we're talking about whether to leave it on the books at that time or not, the idea was if someone had a vehicle or car they wanted to work on, that they were able to do it, father-son projects, whatever, and we didn't want to eliminate that ability for people in town.
All right, I got a couple new ones for you here. 955 Bergen Avenue and 958 Bergen Avenue. Since it traded hands, there's been an overcrowding of motor vehicles there. And I don't know whether this one is allowed.
It is. You provided that at the last meeting. Yes, you did. You provided a black and white copy of this photo at the last meeting.
What's the story? Is it allowed or not
Yes,
allowed?
this is permitted. One is permitted, which is what he has, and he's storing the rest of these vehicles at a location outside of North Brunswick.
I thought that was in a commercial vehicle in a residential neighborhood.
Every residential property is permitted to have one commercial vehicle. Every residential property.
Well, he has that one and a white one.
Not overnight. They're allowed to be there.
You're not here on a weekend.
but we've investigated this, Mr. Nassis, based on your last complaint. During the day, we don't regulate the parking of commercial vehicles. He moved the other vans that he had at that property, he moved them out of town. He is aware that he is only permitted to have one commercial vehicle overnight. And to my knowledge, this is the vehicle that he has
Overnight.
Over
Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night.
7 nights a week, he's allowed one.
All right, how about Bergen, 955?
What about 950? What is 950?
Well, they have 2 commercial vehicles there parked in the street, and he's got ample parking in the back, and there's also extra cars there. I mean, if you go there during the weekend and at night when everyone's home from work, shall we say, that's when all the congestion, most of the stuff takes place when you're not around, because you work 8 to 5, and so does everybody else in the world, and then when you go home, they come home, and that's when the congestion is created. All right, well, I would still like to have an update on everything I just mentioned. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Nastis. Is there anybody else who'd like to be heard in closed session? I mean, in open hearing tonight? Is there a motion to close the public hearing? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I know we want to go over a few items before we leave tonight that to prepare us for the next meeting, sort of our get ready, and then we have a closed session. So we'll for convenience, we can move to the other room, or we could stay here. But I think to discuss some of these items, we might be better in the other room. So could we have so let's go in the other room and discuss them, and then we'll do a motion to go into closed session while we're in there.
Why don't you let me read the resolution to go into closed, Mayor? At least while we're on the record.
Oh, we'll stay on the record in there.
Okay.
Okay. So as long as we can make that switch with the cameras, we'll do it. All right? So if anybody, at this point, we're not going in closed session. If anybody wants to come over and watch, you're welcome. Give us about 3 to 4 minutes to make the switch.
And we won't come back after closed session.
We won't come back out
Right.
here.
Yes.
We'll conduct the remainder of the meeting inside there.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll pick that up tomorrow. Okay.
think it is. So we're still in our meeting,
Yes.
but we wanted to take a few minutes, as we probably will start trying to do in the future, to look at the items that'll be on next week's meeting, or the meeting to our next meeting. So we'll be ready for those. We didn't ask our directors to come forward with any specific workshop items tonight, so we should be very quick, right, Ms. Progovan? No, we don't. We'll have to pass them.
Sorry.
I don't think he has any more.
There's separate mics.
Yeah. So again, I think, if this works going forward, we'll have the council meeting session out there, and if there's anything that's coming up, we would come in here and discuss anything that would be in the upcoming 2 weeks to allow a 2-week window to have an opportunity to review everything and digest everything if that's workable. So again, this is the first time. We don't have anything in particular, except we do have a discussion point. I think the chief and the director are working with the restoration of the basement. There's a piece of the resiliency center that was going to be included within the bid document that we got a proposal to do that work now, to get that work completed in a section of the basement, specifically on the police side. I don't know if you'd like us to go into detail or circulate an email or.
Well, I'd like to, I don't know that we have to go into too much detail, but we need to clarify, this is not a change work order. It's moving ahead on work that was going to happen further in the future, but we feel it's advantageous to jump on the opportunity to do it now while and take advantage of workmen and craftsmen that are currently in the building and perhaps move the timeline up.
It's just a piece that attaches to part of the police side. Rather than making the whole resiliency center, it's going to hold us up on one side there. We're going to try to move it up now. Complete police side will be done. The resiliency side in the future. And what we're doing, as the mayor said, is taking it from the resiliency center, which would be done anyway, and just moving the scope up.
What's the cost? What does it include?
So this is specifically a very large wall. Because of the height of the wall, there's additional structural that has to be included. It's not a standard 2x4. I believe it's a 6-inch depth. There's also the ceiling, which has, because it's right below this dais here where the court is, there's sound barrier requirements within the ceiling that has to be installed. There's wiring. So I believe the net change order, this would be with the current contractor mobilized, all risk. I believe they provided a proposal of about $56,000
Yeah, something like that.
for all the work.
You guys think you think it's advantageous for us to do it, right?
And this would be coming out of the funds that we got, the resiliency money that we got from the state. This would just be taking those funds, moving them forward, which we'd be spending them at the time. We're just moving it forward to here.
Questions, anyone? You're going to be available all week, Joe, Chief, you'll be available.
Yes.
Justine, you'll be available to answer
Yeah.
anybody does have
When will
questions.
that backup be available for us to look at?
So we will circulate tomorrow the proposal for that work. Separately, I had just spoken earlier today with the council president who's been working with the professionals, as well as Councilwoman Mary Hutchinson has been at some of these meetings with finalizing the resiliency center and the project, which includes a piece of the basement. So we'll circulate these as they are to date. They're finalizing the specifications. We'll get those renderings out to you, but just so you can have some concepts of this, they're looking to finalize the resiliency project by mid-April, get it out to bid in May, award by June to start construction end of June into July, to be completed by March of '26.
I think Carla's question was also specific documents.
Yes, that we'll have tomorrow, yes.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
I just want to make sure I understand. So this is something that you feel you need, or our police need, to complete everything that's being done, and you want to do it now instead of holding off till the end?
This is the new gym for the police department and the gym and storage that's going to be for the resiliency center. So there's an issue with security too, because the wall's wide open, so that whole room is wide open. So we want to put the wall up now, so we can get the gym equipment in there, and then that'll secure that side of the building.
So it's a security issue also?
Be in that.
Well,
This would still all.
okay.
No, the equipment's going to come through the door, it comes in pieces, they assemble it here, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Other items, Mr. Fragman?
No.
Mr. Floyd or Mr. Ritz, did you have any items that you foresee that you wanted to warn the council in advance about or anything? Council President, would you pass the mic down to her?
So I'm just confused a little on the meeting. So is this, so every week after our meeting, we'll come in here to discuss, but.
Depending on how you, if you're running the meeting or whoever should, we can come in here, we could stay out there.
Well, not that part of it, but like 2 weeks before we have our next meeting, usually there's no information, so there's not going to be anything to discuss. So when do we have the meetings where we discuss things?
Well, that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to see if we can get that information
Wait a
together.
minute.
I'm confused.
No, I'm not confused. I'm crystal clear here. So we just had our public meeting. Now we're in here to talk about items that are going to be on for adoption for the next public meeting. Yet we're not going to be talking about them because there's nothing right now, but yet in 2 weeks, we're going to have a full agenda.
Yes,
That doesn't work.
it works.
How?
They're going to have to get us the information.
But then-
If they don't
but
get
then-
it, then
but
they're
then
going to
where's
start
our-
coming, if the directors and staff can't do it, they're going to have to start coming to 4 meetings a month again.
But respectfully, Mr. Mayor, you're saying that our next meeting is a public meeting out there with a full consent agenda.
Yes,
So when are we discussing these items prior to the public meeting?
we can go over them at the prior meeting.
Which is right now.
Which is now.
Yes.
I think this is our
We-
first. This
yeah,
is,
we
we're
haven't-
just
we
getting
haven't-
started.
Tonight's not under that model. Tonight's just seeing if it's.
So moving forward, we'll have everything that's going to be on the agenda.
We should.
Yes.
Yes. We should. If we
And
don't-
nothing's going to get added after the meeting.
Right. If we don't, then it doesn't work.
Well, if we don't have it, then it has to go every 4 weeks instead of every 2.
I'll reserve judgment. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I get your point. Your point is that a lot of times, even when we're only doing it a week ahead, they're still not getting the information.
We're still getting
to
things
us
an hour
that
before the
we
meeting.
want. So if they're not getting the information to us a week ahead, how can they do it 2 weeks?
So that's not even what I'm
So are
saying.
we setting ourselves up for failure?
But that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying right now, we're in here, supposed to be discussing our agenda in 2 weeks, and we have nothing. So how
But
are we
tonight, we're
doing?
not supposed to be doing it. Tonight, we didn't set it up. for
Okay,
that.
so then in 2 weeks, what are we doing?
For this one specific meeting in 2
Right.
weeks?
He's just saying, how about we rolling out the
We are going to be
31st
in here
meeting
and then going out there?
No,
In 2 weeks?
I think, well, for this specific meeting, we could do it that way.
Maybe.
We can
Yeah, maybe
we
for
can
this
start
one,
the
till we
meeting,
figure it
doing
out.
presentations, then come in here for.
So on the 7th, we'll do the consent agenda here, but like the stuff.
Go over it.
Then we'll go in there,
Right.
and then we'll come back in here, and we'll have all of the stuff for the next meeting?
Yes.
So then if,
Well, how would you like it to work if you don't have workshop meetings, right? Where you're-
well, this is what we're trying to figure out.
So a workshop meeting is when we present our stuff.
I know.
You guys think about it, you mull it over for a week, and then you vote on it the following week.
Right.
It's set up now is, it would take 2 more weeks to do that, right? We would come here, we would talk about it. If you missed a meeting in between, it could be a month before you
Right.
voted on.
Yes.
So in this scenario, it would be, you could either, so you would have to get the information, as the mayor said, we would have to get our information to you, otherwise, we gotta wait a month.
But
That's our fault. our
But that's not, but,
Right, and that's on you to, so like, I guess it's going to be really hard for the first week because,
We talked about this wall, right? So this would be your opportunity, now you get another, was it 2 weeks from now? To think about it, ask questions, whatever comes up, or whatever any
Right.
of us had, we say in 2 weeks, this is what we'd like you to vote on. That gives you 2 weeks, we have to get our stuff in, that gives you 2 weeks to digest it, and then you vote on it.
So then, by that example, in 2 weeks, we're voting on one thing, and that's it.
Well, no, because he said this meeting was not this.
Right, but if this was the case, if this was the case, that would be exactly what it is.
If we were doing it every week.
Right, but every week we would get something on Monday that had to be on the agenda.
No, but we're all looking, there's a consensus administratively that we all can't live with a once-a-month approval. We're looking to get to a twice-a-month approval.
Right.
But if we don't make it, like, to your point, at any given time, we don't make it, then we're waiting a month. And that's on us. That's on me and him and
And
Joe.
how is that going to affect the efficiency of the entire township operationally, right? Like if everything is constantly having to wait because it's not ready 2 weeks in advance.
Well, I mean, then it won't.
And then it's like another, then it's now you're
Well, then it
4
won't-
weeks.
Then it won't work.
But we're
The
at 4
system will
weeks
not
now.
have worked, and we'll have to reconsider whether this is a good idea or not.
The only other option is to go back to every week.
Yeah.
Right? So if this is you all wanted a 2 week,
Just gotta give it a chance.
So somehow we're gonna have to.
I didn't ask for anything.
No, wait, listen, let's not put words in people's mouths. A proposal was brought up to us, we decided to give it a shot. Don't say we want it. Yeah, I know what we did.
Well, as a council,
Well,
we approved it. Either you take responsibility or you don't.
We didn't really discuss it ahead of time, or if we did, I wasn't at the meeting that we discussed it at. Because I would have had all these concerns.
Well, rather than complain about it after the fact, would the two of you like to go back and redo it? I'll be happy to change back to meetings
We're not
once every
complaining.
week.
We're trying to
Yes, you are
figure,
complaining.
we are trying to figure out how to
You're
make it work.
complaining- You're complaining with the two of you coming in with a setup to complain.
What setup? Well, hold on.
Max,
What
that's
setup,
not
Max?
true.
The
This is
setup we
unfair.
all just observed, where you said, let's wait until after it's all set, until we're ready to go in, and then let's.
Mr. Mayor, I've been
let's
asking
raise
you questions
objections about
privately.
it
I've been
then.
asking you questions privately weekly. All right? So
And I've
it's
been
not
giving
a
you
setup.
answers weekly.
And now here we are, and I'm just asking how this is supposed to work, like I've been asking. So it's not a setup. And that's unfair.
Completely a setup, not unfair, very much the
Okay.
way that you've
Well-
been acting lately.
Really? Okay. Then let's just see how this works. Let's just see how it works.
That's all we're asking for.
You know?
Obviously, you're upset. There was no setup here. We're literally trying to figure out how to make it work so that the directors don't have to wait 4 weeks, so that there isn't this inefficiency in the township.
It's a
There's
little late for
nothing
that.
negative in
You
complaining.
are two important members of the council. When it was brought up, you could have objected. When it was
We
brought
did
up,
talk
you
about
could
it
have
when you-
voted no. This is not how government works. You don't decide as a group, we're going to do something, and then before you even give it a chance to work, say, oh, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, it's all your fault, it's all your fault, it's all your fault.
We didn't say it was
It's
anyone's
a
fault.
setup.
We're trying to make it work. We are not against it. We are trying to make it work.
That's all I'm asking. It's not a setup. But you believe it is, so let's just continue, because we're not going to get anywhere, because we completely disagree, and that's what it's going to be right now. So let's move on.
You have every right to bring a motion, to bring a proposal that will go back to the other method. You have every
Let's see
right
how,
to do that.
let's see how
We
it
do,
works.
and
in
we're
3 or 4
trying
weeks,
to
and
make
then
this
we'll see
work,
what happens.
and you're being very accusatory in the opposite direction. We are trying to make
Yes,
this
I
work
am.
as
I
what's
think
best
with
for the
full
town.
Justification.
Yeah, maybe we can get the last one first.
That's ridiculous. We're trying to do what's best for the town. Is there anything left on the agenda?
I guess go to closed session. Is there a motion to go to closed session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
May I?
Please.
Thank you. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor and council to enter into executive session. Whereas the mayor and council are mindful of the right of the public to attend and witness meetings of governmental bodies at which public business is discussed and to be involved in all phases of governmental action. And whereas the Open Public Meetings Act nonetheless recognizes the authority of a public body to exclude the public from meetings in certain enumerated instances in which disclosure of matters discussed could endanger public safety, property, or other public interest, or invade individual privacy. And whereas, as authorized by the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B, the mayor and council have a need to meet in private session to discuss matters affecting pending or anticipated litigation to which the public body may be a party, or matters within the attorney-client privilege. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council will meet in private session at 8:08 p.m. on March 24, 2025, to discuss the following specific items: status of litigation regarding environmental climate controls, otherwise known as ECC, and the municipal building repairs. Be it further resolved, the matter so discussed will be disclosed to the public when the ECC matter is resolved or the matter otherwise becomes a matter of public record. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Go right ahead.